Hey guys, this your girl Nick coming to you just to give you a side note video on some stuff that's going on in my life that's not related to the binge eating disorder or my weight loss journey. So two things have been going on, and one of them might be a little bit TMI, but this is my life, and I'm open with you guys. So I did go see an allergist finally. I've been told since childhood that I had a penicillin allergy. I always suspected I did not have an actual allergy. My mom said I had a rash when I was on it when I was a little girl. And for me being a nurse, I know that rashes are very common when you have infections, specifically strep or like ear infections. So I always suspected that I didn't really have a penicillin allergy, but that I just had the rash from the infection. But because they correlated at the same time, pediatrician was like, oh, she's allergic. So it's been on my long list of things. I have to triage my life because I have a lot of medical problems. So it's been on my list of things to address. So I finally got around to seeing an allergist and getting tested. And so she did 3 tests, and every level, if you were negative, then you would go on to the next level. So first they did a skin prick test, which just involves looks like a little lancet with a tiny, tiny little needle, and they basically mark your arm, and then they just do like a little scratch of each type of penicillin. So I did that. That was negative. And then they did an intradermal, which is anybody who's ever had a TB10 skin test. It's just like that. They do it on your forearm. They take a needle, a tiny needle. It doesn't really hurt. And they go just under the skin and push the solution under. It makes a little bump. You wait another 15 minutes. They read it. That was normal. That was negative. So then they did an oral challenge. So basically all that is they make you take a pill of penicillin and they watch you to see if you have a reaction or not. 25 minutes later, no reaction. So I am not allergic to penicillin, which is awesome because that means anytime I get sick and I need antibiotics, I now can go on lighter medicine such as penicillin versus having to go to the heavy hitters because of a penicillin allergy. So that is great news. So that's what's been going on me health-wise for this week. There's always something going on with me health-wise, so I'm sure next week I'll have something else. The other big thing, now this might be a little TMI, but I have a lot of piercings. I have 9 piercings, and I decided that I was going to remove a set of my piercings. I had 14 years ago, after a very traumatic event in my life, I decided to get my nipples pierced because that was my way of dealing with the pain, with the emotional pain. I wanted to get pierced. I have often used piercing as a way to cope with my emotional pain. Full disclosure, I do have a history of cutting as well. So I've used piercing and tattoos in the past as a socially acceptable way to self-harm, but you're not really self-harming, but you're using it for the same reasons. You want to feel that physical pain because that physical pain kind of makes that emotional pain feel more real, more physical, and I can handle the physical pain. So that's how I've used piercings and tattoos. Not all my tattoos are like because of that, but definitely a lot of my piercings are because of emotional pain and I'm trying to cope and deal. So after a very traumatic event in December 2003, I decided about a month to 2 months later, I was going to get my nipples pierced. I've always disliked that area of my body, so that was also my way of reclaiming my boobs to make them more the way that I would like them and I would accept them and love my body. So I did have them pierced. It hurt a lot. If you do not have a high pain tolerance, I do not recommend getting your nipples pierced. It was the worst pain out of all 9 of my piercings that I've had. I saw like a white light and everything. It hurt. So I had them for 14 years and I kind of just was getting tired of them. And I think also with this whole journey of like self-healing and learning to love myself with the binge eating disorder and my body dysmorphia, I just decided it was time to take them out. I would have to pretty much take them out anyway because my husband and I, in 9 months, I guess, we're going to start trying for a kid. And I didn't want to have them in during pregnancy because typically your boobs hurt really bad. And if I were to breastfeed, though I don't think I'm going to breastfeed, and that could be a whole other video on why I'm not going to breastfeed, but I wouldn't be able to keep the piercings in, and they close up really fast. So I decided to take them out. And it was a whole big ordeal. Like I told my husband, I was like, look, I think I'm going to take them out. This is what's going on. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. I was like, this is a big decision because once these things are out, they close up really fast. Like I will not be able to like turn around 24 hours and get them back in. Like it just won't happen. So I took them out in front of him. And he was like all mesmerized because it's first time like he's seen them obviously, but it was just the first time he was like really focused on them. So it was very liberating to have them taken out. It still feels weird not having the piercings in, and not having to guard myself against hits or things pulling on them, because that would happen too. I would hit them on things, or a piece of clothing would pull the piercing the wrong way, and that shit would hurt really bad. So getting used to not having them, I have to learn to love my boobs again, because to me, my boobs look really funny without the piercings. And again, I've had issues with accepting that part of my body and liking that part of my body anyway. So taking the piercings out, I now have to really focus on like loving myself. I think part of me trying to accept how they look is I've always said my 40th birthday, I want a new set of boobs. I want a lift and implants because I just don't like that part of my body and I want to love that part of my body. So that's always my backup plan, is at my 40th, I'll get a breast lift and augmentation. But that's still like 5-6 years away from now. So in the meantime, I need to learn to love my body. So it was very liberating taking them out. I do miss the piercings. It was part of my rebellious side as well. So I still have all my other piercings, but I do miss them. But it was very liberating taking them out. So that's basically what's going on. If you guys have any questions, about the allergy testing or even about the piercings, I'm pretty open. I will talk and share just about everything. So that's what's been going on. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Comment down below. I will respond to them. And if you like my page, subscribe. See you next week. Bye.